All right. Good morning, everyone. And once again, thank you for joining on Saturday morning for Agile series session. And this, particularly the last one and this one and the next one are different on when you compare with our regular Agile series. These are no Agile clinic sessions. So last time we have conducted, we have taken question and answers from Q&A from the speaker, and today also we'll be doing the same with respect to the product owner. So, and for those who are joining for the first time, we are recording all our sessions in the uploading into the YouTube. You can find out our PMA Pulse Hyderabad chapter PMA PCC YouTube channel, and then you can find the playlist. All other previous sessions are recorded and available on YouTube. The only difference is you'll not get the PD credited, but knowledge-wise, they are good to watch and gain some knowledge on the agile aspects. So as I said, since we are getting close to our Agile conference, which is on December 9th at T-Hub, so we have set a kind of precursor events. So as a part of that, we are doing this Agile Clinic session, session 2, the mastering agile product ownership. So little bit about Vijay. Vijay is Vijay Morankar is a problem solver and director in technology is one of the reputed bank, and he's have vast experience of digital transformation, agile coaching, product ownership. We have whatnot. We have covered length and breadth of the the in the organizations. Oh, that's about little bit. And thank you, Vijay, for coming forward. I think it was a very short period of time, but again, thank you very much. And over to you, Vijay.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinay. Thank you for having warm welcome. Good morning, everyone. My name is, as Vinay mentioned about, my name is Vijay Morankar. I'm located in Pune location. And prior to that, I was working in Hyderabad, again for one of the big banks named Wells Fargo. So about me, if you can go to the next slide. Yeah. So this is very brief introduction about myself or some details about my profile, right? So I have been into IT industry for more than 1.5 decade now, primarily involved into digital transformation and agile aspects from 2013 and doing product management things from 2016, right from setting the product operating model um, till the execution at the ground, right? And connecting the different pieces together. We're going to talk about that briefly. I'm very active community volunteer. So far, I have helped like more than 1,000 people in their career aspirations, and in the community, I have like more than 50 sessions around conducted so far in my career. I like to contribute in those areas. Personally, I like to trek and hike. I'm a proud father of one boy who is going to be 4 years soon. That's pretty much about me. Short introduction. So today's topic, right, is agile product ownership. So when we hear this topic, there is a lot of confusion. People confuse primarily between the two roles, product manager and product owner. We're going to talk about them as well. But what exactly agile product owner is all about, where exactly this role fits into the ecosystem of value driven delivery, right? Probably into the organizations where there is a large size or even mid size organization, they still struggle to basically find where exactly the product owner fits into the ecosystem. So product owner is actually the heart of these three things, primarily business, your user, and technology, right? And what we observe, right, most of the times, especially with the Scrum framework, the product owner role um largely contributes in the Scrum team and talks more and more with the Scrum teams, and that's one of the anti patterns, right? That's a good thing, but there are some other things product owner should also do. So product owner is like a sweet spot between all the systems or all the uh, entities within your ecosystem, bringing them together for a common purpose, right, is something product owners primary responsibility, and that's what product owner should fit into. So if as a product owner you are fitting into either one or two of these circles, or not even any of these circles, please think through and start finding that gap, right? Where exactly you can map yourself and bring value to all the people involved in your value driven delivery, or which we often call as outcome based delivery nowadays, right? We do not focus on outputs, rather than we focus on outcomes or impacts, right? So that's where the product owner role fits from agile perspective in the ecosystem of your organization. Any question on that? We can take one and then quickly go to the next slide. I know we have separate question and answer slides, but if you have anything, please feel free to.
Uh, Vijay, I have a question. A few days back, we had network meeting and we were greatly discussing about anti patterns. So me, honestly, don't know the difference between patterns and anti patterns. Please
Well,
define some.
that's fine. That's fine. If you start doing the job on the ground, you would start getting to know it. But if you are not doing it, yeah, it is hard to understand pattern and anti-patterns. Anti-pattern is nothing but what is that you should not do. Because if you do those things, it will largely impact your value-driven delivery. That's the ultimate thing, right? And it may result into conflicts, it may result into bad practices, it may result into delivering features which do not make sense or anything else, right? So anti-pattern is like a bad smell in your system, and that's where you need to start smelling it earlier in the process. If you can smell it and close it, that's better, right? But yeah, it takes time, so you need some hands-on, and we can talk on patterns and anti-patterns in question and answers sections, how basically I should go about it, right? Or how I should be able to find or observe those in this particular role, or even say in other roles, right? Very good question. So with
Thank you,
the
Vijay.
interest, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So many of us, right, have that understanding that product owner actually works on only backlog aspects, meaning your user stories or epics, right, or the requirements only, and largely remains accountable or spends most of his or her time with, if you see the extreme downside or right hand side of the image, right, at the down, development team and scrum master, right? So that's not the case. Product owner should equally spend time with all these people. In short, with your marketing and sales folks, with your senior management, with your users and customer, right? That's where your product success lies. If you spend too much time into the backlog aspects, right, or becoming an administrator of a backlog, then you start losing your touch with these different entities, and you may not really be able to solve the challenges which these people want to solve. Rather than rather than that, it would be your own assumptions or challenges, right? And that's where many of the product owners, they face a lot of challenges in their careers, because they do not breach this basically a gap, or they do not find uh, capability, or basically a thinking process in themselves to manage, right? How they want to split or organize themselves, right? So ideally, a great scrum master, sorry, product owner, uh, spends significant amount of time with all these entities. There can be any other entities, but these are very high level uh, prominent entities, right? There can be few other stakeholders. There can be some other people as well, right? So product owners should equally spend time with them, and that's where I'm going to talk about two different roles: product owner and product manager. How these roles were created, what is the major difference? I'll cover it in 2 minutes. So many times, most of us, I was also getting confused in my initial days of career. There is a role called as product manager, and then there is a role called as product owner. So product owner is role largely in the scrum framework, defined in scrum framework, but it is so popular that across multiple organization, multiple frameworks, people are using it, which is very good. Whereas product manager is very specific, like to the product based thinking role, someone who knows everything about that product, right from doing the market research, competitor analysis, and whatnot, right? In that space, something we call as product market fit, and then identifying different sort of problems, mocking up, working with the UX people, all the stuff. So product manager knows everything in and about that product. Product owner may also know, but if the product is too large, what happens in big organizations, they distribute specific aspects of the products, right, to different teams, right? So based on the specific Scrum team, the product owner gets that responsibility of specific portion of a product. They are responsible, but largely they have someone at the top of hierarchy, right? We are saying senior management who foresees the entire product thing, right? So that role is called as product manager, chief product owner, whatever you call, right? But the ultimate goal or aim right behind this role is that making sure that all your product owners are equipped, they understand the product equally, they are equipped to take decisions at the team level, and rather not coming to product reporting or senior management every now and then, right? But someone who knows your product very well. So many organizations, they feel the need of having both the roles. They have both the roles. Especially small organizations, they do not feel that need. So they have only one role. So they either call product owner as product managers or product managers as product owners, which is fine. A product manager is a bigger thing. Product owner is a subset of that one particular responsibility. Product manager, as I said, right, few other things, market fit, competitor analysis, etc. All these things they do. Whereas product owner may not do because the focus of product owner is at the team level, team backlog, and making sure that the product is aligned with the larger initiatives and priorities. Okay. So one more question we'll take on this slide and then go to the next one.
Yes, Vijay. Like you mentioned that product owners versus product owner. So how many product owners are going to be there because you are the expert? For example, any complexity of the project from small scale to large scale projects, how many products or product owners should be typically there and are there?
Okay. So it is one of the design principle question. What happens when we design any new team, right? Or when we form any team in the format of agile team, right? For Scrum or whatever we say. So if, for example, we say Scrum team, we define them based on certain uh, product characteristics which they would be able to uh, do, or which they are going to be accountable for that. For that purpose, we develop something called as vision, mission, and strategy, right? Even at the team level. This is also called as charter, project charters in our earlier days. So it is nothing different that. So what we do at very high level, we define the larger vision and mission. And at the team levels, we define which portion of that vision and mission this particular team is going to take. So automatically, the product owner of that team is responsible for that product related things, nothing different, right? So that's how it is not splitted or defined by product owner, rather by teams and by product. Okay. So that's the design principle thing. When we form any new teams, that's what we spend more time to understand how logical it is to form teams, on what basis we need to form them. And these are called as design principles. So we make sure that at least we follow 80% of the standard design principles so that tomorrow team doesn't face many of the basic challenges or anti-patterns, right? They do not come at the basic level. Okay. For the interest of time, let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is bigger diagram, right? Hard to digest in one go. And very famous popular person in the agile community, Henrik Nyberg, in 2012, right, did this, and still it is relevant with the same impact and same value today also. So if you see, right, agile product ownership in a nutshell, it is all about making sure that how much dollar value you are able to generate as a product owner. And that's what Scrum Guide, right, also says product owner is someone who is able to maximize the value generated by the work done by your developers or development team. So typically product owner is someone who basically defines or communicates the vision to your team, and that's where your stakeholders also come in place. Development team works on it, and they work in iterative incremental manner. As you can see, small bricks, right? Those are iterative incremental deliveries. Those outputs are fed into stakeholders, and they generate some sort of outcome, right? Value. So the process gets repeated every now and then. And if you see the funnel at the extreme right hand side, just below the product owner icon, that's where your backlog, right, is managed. So backlog is repository of all the things needed for your product to be successful, right? So the things go in the backlog, they are prioritized. Some of them on prioritized basis, you see 4 to 6 items are picked by development team every week. They deliver it. Again, they do repeat the same cycle. Okay. At the end of it, if there is no customer value added, there is a trash bin also. Okay. So you put that in trash bin. So uh, it is high possibility that Scrum team, whatever work they do, or Agile team, whatever work they do, it may result in no value. That's fine, but you have to take that decision. So that decision making, right, capability product owner should have. And if you see different sort of risks, business, social, tech, cost, and schedule, all these things are also looked by the product owner. Product owner is someone who focuses on building the right thing, and the people who are doing the work, they focuses on building the thing in right way, right? So that's the major difference. You involve multiple feedback loops, you build it fast, you get the feedback in, and for that you need good product knowledge. You need some important traits which we are going to talk in next slide. But this is all about agile product ownership in a nutshell. If you are not talking with your stakeholders, if you are not communicating with your development team frequently, or if you are not focusing on your short term versus long term vision, or what you want to achieve in the format of say objectives, KPIs, OKRs, whatever it is, right? So that's the kind of vision, or that's the kind of uh, what do you say, look product owner should do, right? Not only short term, but long term thinking, how my product will evolve, whether it will really make sense to my customers, how soon I will realize the maximum value, right? In the format of MVPs, which is called as minimum viable products, right? So all these things in a nutshell, product owner does. So if we go to the next slide, Vinay, I have just listed down some of the top 5, 6 tips for any agile product owner. So if you do these things largely, you would be successful in your role. But if you don't do exactly opposite of these things, right? Those are called as anti-patterns, right? So though they will not enable, or they will not basically make you a good product owner, they will inhibit your capability to become a good product owner. So you focus on managing the roadmap, not the teams. You focusing on understanding the product in and out, all the things from the customer perspective. You clearly communicate product vision. When I said communicate, because it might not be the case that product vision is defined or designed by product owner. There can be few people at the top, right? As we discussed earlier, chief product owner, or the product managers, or even the portfolio product guys, right? So they might define the product vision. So in that case, you need to clearly communicate the same product vision. In that vision, what your team is going to do, that is something you can define. And that's all about uh, the third point. If you listen more, you become a great product owner, you become a great scrum master, you become a great coach, any role, right? If you start listening 80% or more of the time in your meetings, you automatically learn 5 times than what you are learning today. So that gives a lot of value to us, right? And talking from customer perspective always, saying no, that's where many of the product owner, I also struggled most of the part in initial days of my career. I was not able to say no to different stakeholders, different senior leaders. And yeah, if you need to learn that art, please learn it. If you are good in that, that's very good thing. And you should be able to tell great story, right? Why you are building that feature, why you are building this product, what kind of value it generates, and so on, right? So this is in nutshell my top tips for any agile product owner. And I think that is the last slide. Now we are going to talk more on question and answers.
Vijay, Vamsi here, and again, during your initial career, your days of your career, initial days, why are you unable to say no, and why are you able to say no now, and what difference you find out?
Very nice question. So initial days, right? If you remember 2010, 29, sorry, 2009 or 2010 or 11, we were very hierarchical, right? Each organization was very hierarchical. We have had too many layers, right, in the hierarchy. And what we were told, right, from our child education policies, or etc., right? You need to listen to your seniors. You need to follow them, right? So I was built in such a way that it was inbuilt in me that whatever my senior tells, I used to follow that, which is a good thing. But with that, I used to inhibit or restrict my own creativity, right? I was not thinking from multiple creative, or common sense, right, was not that up to the mark. So what I started doing, right, after few years and after learning agile and all the things, I started putting my ideas, sharing that, right? And obviously it was not possible to put it every time, but whenever I got the opportunity, and then automatically that buy-in to listen from someone who is at little lower level started developing, at least in my group, and which really helped me, right? And that's where the understanding about different aspects, business, product, technology, right, started building in. Yeah, it's not easy still a day, right? If you ask me, working at this level, we face very, very difficult situation from the top leadership, and they do not want to listen any other aspect or perspective. So in that case, we are still learning. I will not say that I have mastered the art, but 80% of the times I'm able thought process also, and also bring the common sense and creativity in place. So it takes time. The way we are nurtured, right? Indians, right? By default, we follow those thumb rules, but we need to break them and create our own rules so that the maximum value is achieved, right? At all levels. So it takes time.
So, is it confined to only professional level, personal level as well? Funny question though, but
Personal level, I think if you are married, I will not better answer. Few
no,
things you cannot control.
I'm single and unmarried.
Yeah, that's why you're asking. If you're married, you will not dare even to ask that question. Yeah, few things, yeah, you can control, few things you cannot. Again, the same thing, right? You need to, being in this space, what helps to understand the other person's aspects, right? More. So you adapt yourself from that hat quite earlier, right? And you avoid multiple other, what do you say, quarrels and all the stuff. So you choose your peace, right? In this case.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, Vijay.
Yeah, Vijay, this is Kishore. So I have one question. Probably like I'd say like I'm replacing I replaced your position the way you left us maybe in the previous organization. So I am into that same role. So I'm just kind of interested like being a Scrum Master. Like how did you translate into product management also? I'm also looking forward into those roles. So just want to know.
Very good question. So when I joined, right, that organization, I was clearly told basically why I joined, right? Because I did have some request to the senior leadership that I have done these many things. Can you give me that opportunity sooner or later, right? Once I starting. And fortunately, I got the opportunity into the product management. I got opportunity into the transformation as well. So getting all the good people is really hard. I got all the good people there, I would say, which basically helped me to explore few things. And if you see people, right, in the other side of that organization, they are also open to hear, understand, and uh, put things. What I did differently is probably to understand their context more and more, understand the teams at the ground very well, and yeah, because of that, there was no need for our entire that DCBMO space for an agile coach. I did that role as well. So it all depends on how basically you understand your business. More importantly, what kind of confidence you bring to your stakeholders. And third important thing is, what is your thought process? It is in alignment with your organization, or whatever you have just learned, you are trying to apply it, right? So that's, I think these are 3 points. I did a lot of work earlier days. I spent like hours and hours with developers in the team to understand what they are doing, what could happen. And then fortunately there were not so good product owners across, right? So it gave me an opportunity to formulate the product kind of things as well. So if you know, I was also involved into the product management steering committee at the organization level, which was defining the product operating model. You might have heard about that word, right? Product operating model in
Yes,
this
yes, I am into,
organization.
yeah, more or less into the same role, so
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. So multiple levels we did define: L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. You might have heard about that. So it was very good experience, but I would be thankful to my leaders and organization, right? Because they give me an opportunity to move multiple areas, not only telling me that you restrict to your roles. So I think that's what worked for me. I did show that interest and had some working examples at the ground to tell leadership that these are the areas can we work upon, and they were kind enough to support, right? Especially the enterprise agile coaches in the US side, they were really open and honest about what they are doing, what they are not doing.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay.
Okay, let's take one question from the already collected questions. So, yeah. So, as a product owner, what kind of metrics are really matter to you and for the Scrum team and for the organization? The three.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, very good question. So, as a product owner, right, I'm least worried about how my developers are doing the work, but I'm more worried about what kind of value they are bringing, attrition or sprint over sprint. So, it gives me a clear idea that I should not focus on productivity related metrics directly here. Rather, I should focus on outcome based metrics. For example, throughput, and relating that throughput, how many those throughput items were actually contributing in my product backlog outcomes, right? That is something I can start looking at. And for measuring that, there are multiple ways, right? How sooner, faster the throughputs are achieved, right? With the help of cycle time, lead time. More importantly, as a product owner, I will look at the burn up chart, right? Not the burn down. So that's the difference. Many of the time people do not tell us. So burn up gives me an idea how much work I'm as a team, right, able to do, or how my team is performing with respect to the planned milestone, and how much value realization is happening, right, with respect to that. So burn up chart. And beside that, there are a lot of other product metrics, right? For example, if you're working on a new product, so what is my acquisition rate, what is my traffic rate, what is my customer retention rate, what is my net promoter score, and more importantly, happiness index, different surveys with respect to customer satisfactions, right? So there is something called a double dimension model concept in product management. So from that perspective, I will start looking at those things, right? From customers, what kind of value they are getting, how happy they are. More importantly, what kind of features I'm developing, whether they are making sense or not. So if I'm able to get that information, I think that is more than enough. Whatever you do on top of it, it is just to gather data. They do not make too much sense to me.
So if it
Yeah,
is allowed to ask a follow-up question,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have one.
yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, uh, so you explain like you the product owner should look for the metrics or what are the measurements from the customer point of view. Can you name few and how we go ahead and measure it? Apart from the
Okay.
lead time and cycle time, that is that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's we do because right now I'm working as a Scrum Master. I do it as I'm following a Kanban. I constantly measure those values. Apart from that, as a product owner, what are the metrics are important to, and how they're getting measured?
Okay. So I think we talked about some of them, right? So for example, if you are developing a service or offering, the metrics might differ. If it is a service or offering, you will focus more on customer satisfaction or happiness kind of information because your product is already there, service is already there. So how users are feeling about it, right? So any product has three aspects, whether it is usable, viable, feasible, right? So these three things we should always check: usability, viability, feasibility. Obviously, if these three things are there and if your product is already there, obviously it is a valuable product, right? So that's why I did not mention the fourth important thing. So any product, whatever you do, service, offering you develop, it focuses on four aspects: valuable, usable, viable, feasible. And based on that, you define your metrics. For example, valuable. What is valuable to you? How many new customers you are able to onboard, right? Over a period of time, say month over month. How many customers you are able to retain over a period of time? How much is the network or the web traffic you are able to bring on your site? That is also another thing, right? How much customer satisfaction score, right? Net promoter score, which we call as you have over a period of time. All these things are your product metrics, and that's what you should take a look from the product perspective to all these metrics. One other important thing is, right, your objectives, product vision. You achieve them with the vehicle of product backlog items, right? So you can measure your product backlog items epics to product vision, right, journey, how it is evolving. So if you are able to deliver, say, 100 product backlog items, but they are just contributing 1% of your product mission, right? Mission is like how part. It is not useful, right? Which means you are not doing something related to your product or offering. You are doing something else, right? So these are some of the important metrics you should look at and visualize in a proper way. And overall, from a team perspective, they will look at quality, speed, um, then your roadmaps, all these metrics also, right? Qualitative and quantitative. So how team is performing and what performance of that team makes sense, those metrics. And then on top of that, from a product perspective, you need to measure your product related metrics, which we talked about now.
Thank you.
I have one question here, okay? So now that everybody's talking about Gen AI and LLM, right? So how it is important for a product manager to upskill himself or herself into to understand at least what the technology team is talking about and what the customer's needs are. And being a product manager, how do you see yourself in the market when there is Gen AI and somebody who is non-technical enough to understand those things? And what would be the challenges that you think that a product owner will need to face or need to come up with?
Very good question. So first of all, um, if you have seen, right, the product management space, it is highly raked or it was discussed or there were a lot of what do you say, predictions about product management space with AI coming in, right? And some of the organization already have done some changes. So what they did, right, they brought the marketing and sales kind of responsibilities into only one role. That is something they are calling as product manager or product owner. So with AI, what you can do is you can do lot many things. For example, your market research, your chat GPT can easily tell what are your market competitors, what are their key USPs, how they are performing, their revenues. So the information which you were supposed to collect, right, earlier days, and it was taking, say, for example, 2 weeks, you can get it within 20 minutes now, right? So how you use your resources to generate insights is where your AI can help you. But if you are not doing that, right, obviously you will be getting replaced by some other product manager, not by AI. So you need to learn those tools, first of all, understand what kind of power they can bring to your profile. And another thing is, right, these tools cannot bring the human aspects, whatever evolution happens, right? Even if they say that we replace human, but um, that's going to be another challenge, right? So what is main thing, right? How you are equipping yourself to use these tools to better gain the insights and whatever information available, right? To do the decision making. So they will help you to expedite your decision making capabilities. They will help you to make the calls based on available data earlier and often, right? With reliable information, which you could not access earlier days, right? And if you are building a similar kind of product, they will give you all the information. So as a product manager, your job is pretty simple if you are able to use these tools wisely, right? In that case. But if you are building a new product, no AI tool can help, right? So they can help you to get the data, context, but or insights. Beside that, they cannot help you. But it is essential, vital for us. I'm also trying to learn some of the AI tools, not getting much time to be frank with you, because with the current setup and all the things, I'm able to survive. So that kind of human, right, nature we need to change, including me. So I'm trying hard. Start learning one AI tool. You don't need to do the coding. Those are very easy to use AI tools. We can share some of the tools if you want, right, later, um, just to start using them. Most of them are free.
I just want to add my view on this actually, because right now I'm handling three teams.
Sure.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, yes. Go ahead.
So right now I'm handling three teams. I see a lot of difference when if, a product owner has a good technical understanding of what the team is doing. That is what I think the question was, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
the product owner, suppose when there is a dependency raised, an impediment raised, the product owner who has got a basic technical understanding of what dev team is doing will chase the business with the right direction and get the information required for the dev teams, because he has some knowledge what exactly dev team is asking and looking for. If the product owner doesn't have any technical knowledge, that the turnaround time for the answers or the solutions the dev team is looking for will be more. That is very significantly adding value to the team when product owner possess some technical knowledge of what exactly the dev team is working. Hope I've answered that question.
Yeah, so essentially what you're saying is like being a product owner or product manager, it is essential to have at least the basics or basic understanding of what the AI ML is about. Because when they converse or communicate with the development team, they are in sync. It's not that they are far or rather miles apart, right? So the developer need to understand the business perspective of it, and the product manager should understand the technical aspect of what they are going to do with the AML so that there is no gap between the communication. So
Exactly, perfect. That's what when I thought.
So
yeah.
this is true when you have something called as tech-driven teams, right? Meaning teams focusing on, say, moving from one architecture to another, or moving to cloud from existing storage things. It is absolutely good thing if product owner knows technical things. But one thing is for sure, nobody in the development team, right, is supposed to restrict themselves, right? They can talk with any stakeholder. Okay, they can let their scrum master know. So there should not be any waiting game within the scrum team or within the agile team that I have this problem and I know that somebody else can fix on the other side. I should not talk it, rather product owner should talk it. So this should not happen, first thing. Second important thing is, knowing technical thing is icing on the cake. But sometimes what happens, being a product owner or even as a scrum master, I should really know whether I should be speaking on those occasions or not, because it might create healthy conflicts within the team. And team members might think that our technical decisions are also investigated by people like Scrum Master and product owners. So, if it is a case of generating perspectives, or if somebody asks us explicitly, then if provide value, that adds more value to our profile and our role and generates more kind of transparency, right, within the team. People accept us uh, like by both hands. If you try to do too many things in one role, your people will not accept you. And that's why 90% of the scrum masters, 80% of the product owners fail this challenge, that they are not being accepted by their own team.
Right.
So first of all, your acceptance, you work on that. Your existence, you prove it. Then you can simply make the case for all these things. Knowing them is absolutely fine. It is value add to your profile, value add to your career. But expressing them is something cautious thing. We should really know when, how.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, agree. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take one more question from the already questions being asked by people. So I think I mean last week we had a network meeting in Infosys Hyderabad on anti-patterns of Scrum ceremonies. So that's where we got one more question on anti-patterns. So as a product owner, what are the top anti-patterns you would see from the Scrum teams or from the Scrum Master?
Yeah, very good question. So very basic anti-pattern, right? We see often, right, is when your sprint planning happens, right? And if your product owner, right, asks something, people usually say that no, 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 it is our problem, right? So not having that transparency in the sprint planning and not giving that insights to the other party, we touch that thread. Another anti-pattern is like managing your capacity, meaning internally only one developer in the planning says that yeah, let's give 40 story points, let's take these stories, we are all good. And if product owner says that guys, this is not as per the scrum, and then your team members say that no, 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 we know better how to do our work, you be silent. So that's another anti-pattern. And the other side of it is also true. Product owner pushes
Influences,
too many things to the scrum team. Guys, I am the product owner, I want this to be done.
right?
So just take that, I don't want any excuse, and team just pulls it. Your scrum master simply sees the situation being helpless kind of person, right, in that case. So these are very common anti-patterns. They happen when your funnel of right work moves from backlog to sprint backlog. These are common anti-patterns. And within the sprint backlog, there are few stories added, removed by product owner without even asking the team, right, or developers. This is another common anti-pattern. And few other common anti-patterns with the ceremonies are not to do them, or rather not to time box them, or rather just do them for the sake, right? So these are very basic common anti-patterns. If you are not able to resolve in either of these roles, then have one-on-one with anybody who is working in this role for a while. It would really help.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. And one more small question here is product owner is mandatory for daily stand-up and retrospection?
Daily stand-up, no, not mandatory. It is for developers, development team to see how they are doing with respect to sprint goal on daily basis. But yes, if they need product owner for some consulting or some discussions or some decisions, or if there is also other case product owner wants to know more about something, he or she can join the stand-up. But essentially, developers are needed. Even Scrum Master is not needed for daily Scrum. And then the second question for retrospective is for entire team. Obviously, product owner should join it, right? It makes a lot of sense because he is the one who maximizes the value. He is the one who benefits from the work which development team does, rather than he is the one who basically portrays that work to the actual users or customers. So yes, product owner should definitely join the retrospective.
Agreed. Agreed. Any questions from the group before I ask this next question from the registered participant?
So Vijay, I had just posted it in my this chat, but I'm just looking for some resources which can help us groom ourselves in this product management profile.
On the certification, right?
Not certification, but
Mm-hmm.
for a
Okay.
product
Okay.
management. Yeah,
So
no.
we'll share some of the book links. Very good books, not like theoretical. Uh, Personally, they help me a lot, and I am seeing it. They are helping a lot of other people. So 4 or 5 books we can share with you to start with your journey. They will bring some basic understanding, the concepts about product management, and yeah, you should be good from that point to start into.
Okay. And one interesting question from the group or from the Google form. I think he or she must be a Scrum Master. So he has a, typical product owner who always come up with new requirements on the planning day regularly. So what will be the reason of bringing such kind of things on the planning day, or how do you, as a product owner, how we can better handle that situation?
Wow, very, very good. And I think most of the teams face this still now, right? Even though we say Agile is there from 2 decades. The main reason is product owner, in this case, is backlog administrator. Second important thing is he or she is not talking with the other right entities in the ecosystem we mentioned. He is only talking with the developers, and then on the 8th or 9th day of your iteration or sprint, he is or she is realizing that, oh, I don't have any backlog now, or my prioritization doesn't look good. So let's add this, right? And most of these things, these people usually do on something called as guessing based on their experience, which often do not work well after a few years, 1 or 2 years. So as a Scrum Master, right, you need to teach your product owner how, what they need to do, and on what frequency cadence, right? Just talk about the timeline, especially product owners and some of the technical folks. They should work 2 sprints ahead for future work than the normal active sprint. So if there is no one from your team working on future sprints, right, for next to future sprint, it is one of the big anti-pattern, and that's where you end up, either product owner finds work for you or development team finds work for themselves. So you find work to fill your capacity, not to satisfy your vision or goal, right? So that's the very uh, big essence of it. Still a challenge in industry, many of the teams face.
Yeah, I agree. And one question on, so how do you integrate a user feedback or market insights into your product backlog?
Wow. So you get multiple opportunities. First of all, your review, right, to incorporate the market insights or user feedback. That's where you involve as a product owner, right? Product owner involves the actual people who are getting benefited from whatever work we are doing at the ground, right? So if they are giving any feedback, product owner should make sure that it goes in your backlog, it gets prioritized, and you end up working on it, right, in future. Or it gets converted into your retrospective action items, and make sure that you work on it, and try to make sure that the same kind of pattern is not repeated, same kind of mistake is not repeated. So these are two better ways to handle it. And yeah, I think the retrospective also brings some of the improvement opportunities for us in terms of anything. It is for entire Scrum team, not for outside people. So within Scrum team, whatever you find, you can improve either in the format of backlog, putting it in your product backlog, or an action item, right? Somewhere you can mention and start working on it.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense. And one question from the chat, and also I see that question in the Google form as well. So, what is the hierarchy to start a product owner for a product? I mean, newcomers. Like, how do you, a young engineer want to become a product owner? Or how he can start? And there is a subsequent question also. Let's go ahead with this one, and I'll ask the second question. Yeah.
Yeah. So for product owner role, uh, first of all, try to build some basic understanding about what product is. In Like, if you know some of the popular TV shows across the world, right? Shark Tank, not India but across also. If you just watch these shows, you will understand lot many product concepts, how things are or ideas, or how the entrepreneurship, right, happens, how people become serial entrepreneurs and all the stuff. So it gives lot of insights. So first thing is to start just watching the readily available content, freely available content, and then start understanding from the concept perspective. That's where you have multiple bodies of knowledge. You have scrum.org, you have Scrum Alliance, there are different other bodies also, right? And there are few people in the industry who are providing some basic value creation, right, in terms of creating your worth in understanding these tips. So you go through those, have some theoretical knowledge and start practicing them. I would recommend do those things practically. Start building a product from scratch. It doesn't need development background. It doesn't need any other background. I am a part of one community. I think Vinay might know it. Product coaching experiential journey. So we started it a year back. Until date, we have developed 6 different products. Imagine, we have got sponsors also. We are not earning anything from it, but the kind of confidence, right, it has built into the kind of interactions we had with multiple people is something no experience can match. Meaning, no organization can give you that kind of exposure. So you need to be part of the community initiatives sometimes to understand them and spend some pennies, right, if you find really good resource to learn something about it, but do lot of research about it, right? And do not do certifications only for the sake. Bring your knowledge in first, understand these things, and if you are convinced, yes, I need to make career, or I can or my skill set makes more sense in this kind of role, then you can go for certifications also. No harm in that. So that's how you should address coming into this role or have strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I echo with Vijay on that. So there are a lot of resources, right from Google, YouTube, and in fact Udemy also. You spend 500 or 700 rupees, you'll get a proper good course. Like we have a, you can buy based on ratings and the number of purchasing and all. So those are all helpful for you to get the theoretical background. Like Vijay was mentioning, do please do join the communities where they were discussing how we are discussing like this. There will be WhatsApp discussion going on. I've seen 3 to 4 groups which are very active, and they that is an opportunity to know the practical aspects of the product ownership. Like how much ever you have got the theory background, but you need these practical aspects, meaning the hands-on experience. So these are the opportunities, and in fact, if you look at the community, you see pretty known faces, like who are good at product management and all. You can take some mentorship. Many people are available. You can talk to them, attend the in-person meetings also matters a lot. Like I remember 4 to 5 years back when I visited one conference. I got network in the form of 2 to 3 Scrum Masters and Agile coaches. And with the Agile coaches, that helped me to think towards the Agile coaching aspect. That time I was a Scrum Master, senior Scrum Master, and I wanted to become Agile coach. So how we can become all this matters, and the personal touch is also matters. The point is here, you can connect with the people, how we are doing, that also important. And certification is really needed, and don't do for the name of I have certified so and so, so and so. ROI is if you really crack any role or any opportunity, that is important. Like for the job in the JDs, they'll be mentioning, right? We need certified so and so. That will help for only that. It will not help to knock the interviews or crack the interviews, right? So yeah, sticking to the community is really important. I think I covered the second. You started covering the second part of the question, and I have added Vijay. So that's regarding the question. Any quick
Yeah.
questions?
I have one more, two
Yeah.
questions actually. Okay, probably very basic, but I just wanted to understand. Do you ever see that a product is matured enough? There is no scope for improvement for a product owner in that. And the follow-up question to that is, being a product owner, do you see that what would be the percent of stories that you want to cover in each sprint? Do you have anything of that sort?
Very good question. So, if you know in Agile also, right, or anywhere, we already have majority of the audience with respect to anything into the matured, right, products or ongoing products. So for them, right, what happens, uh, these product owners, right, they do not focus on the existing product aspects primarily, rather than they focus on the customer satisfaction aspects. So whatever feedback, right, we get from the customers, whatever challenges we have in your existing system. So that's where your strategic initiatives, right? Many of the organizations are doing. They're shifting their code bases from the traditional technologies to modern technology stacks, or shifting their storage mechanisms from virtual machines or physical storage to the cloud, right, etc. So what happens, your product also evolves, right? Your product needs, they get changed. Your users, if they are matured, what usually happens, your product has embedding of few other things. Your users expect that the same product should solve another two other problems for me. So if you start getting those needs, these get integrated in your existing product, and your product becomes too big. Example is Tata 1mg, right? If you see in India, I think most of us are or using the same kind of products. When it was launched, it was very, very lean product, right? And if you now go and look at it, um, tremendous kind of offerings, right, they have uh, implemented. I'm giving you an Indian example. I don't want to give any other fancy e-commerce example, because most of you know about them. They have the case also, but 1mg is such a case that they in the medical field, right, they have evolved uh, immensely, right? Or even if you consider Zoho as an organization, right? If you see one organization providing more than 1,000 products, what is, right, causing them to build those many products? Because their existing product owners are getting that request that, can you solve this problem for us? So in that case, you end up building a new product or integrating new features into your existing product. So your product do not die. Yeah, obviously the audience needed to support that product may change, it may shrink for a period of time, but it is only for limited time. Based on my experience, if your product is surviving, working well, it creates lot of opportunities for the ecosystem to create different sort of things together, either in the same or in the format of new products.
Okay.
Agree.
And
So,
the
one of my owners recently told me that the more you consider your product is matured, it will become legacy.
In today's world, we don't use this word, right? Legacy. That's why we use microservices, architecture, cloud, and whatnot, right? DevOps, all these things. So we have renamed all these terms very nicely, I would say. And yeah, the purpose is not to just relabel, but to make sure that the product, right, operating or the product itself evolves around it, right? Meaning your product, it may happen, product may cease, right? Sometimes it is fine. But if the product is being vastly used, it doesn't cease, it creates multiple other opportunities. So you may change your focus as a product owner to some other product, because this product is working well for you, or you may end up adding few features in that product. It all depends what your customer needs, right? Customer is king at the end of day. So it is everything driven by customer or business. And from that perspective, we do things. And imagine if you don't have that hat as a product owner, it's hard to survive.
And I had my second, or rather the second follow-up question, probably that slipped because of all the discussion. So, what would be the percentage of stories that you think would be appropriate for a product owner to contribute to each sprint? Or we just consider the value rather than the number of stories?
You answered it, value rather than number of stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a small question here actually. There are so many product owner certifications, right, in the market. One is from Scaled Agile, other is from Scrum Alliance or something. As a beginner, I'm a PMP certified guy. If I want to go towards the product owner thing, which one should I go for? Any advice on that?
Okay, okay. With a note, I will answer. First of all, I'm not seller of any of this alliance, but if you are looking out not to spend renewal cost, if you want to really have good examination experience, go for scrum.org PSPO 1 certification. Uh, Two benefits. You need to really read, learn concepts to clear the exam. Second is the certification doesn't expire. Third bad point is they have increased the cost in November month only. I think for $150 they have made it to $200, and for 200 I think 250. So $50 increase in the certification cost. You don't need to attend classes also for this. So if you are a kind of self learner, you can give exam on your own. You don't need uh, classes assistance. That's not a mandatory thing. Whereas in other alliances, class is needed, and you are pretty much assured to clear the certification. And yeah, uh, that's about it. So up to you which
Uh,
you want certification you want to do. There are free certifications also available from Product School and from Pendo.io. Very good certifications. I'm planning to do them since a while, uh, uh, but not getting time to give the exam and get the badges on my head. So there are free certifications also. They are equally good, not bad. They will bring basic understanding about the product management and product ownership.
so as a recruiter, which one they will be looking up in the resume? Which one is good to have that point of view?
Not the pre ones. They might be looking for PSPO, Scale Agile ones, or CSM Alliance certification, because many of the recruiters they might not even know about these pre-certifications which are happening in the industry. So it's unfortunately like that. Or even from PMI, there are some good certifications like PMI ACP, which is like fantastic certification, covers entire agile breadth, product ownership aspect as well. Those who have done PMI SAP, they would know the value of it. So it's very good certification.
All right, here we are out of the time. So yeah, so for those who have joined today, you can register for the Agile conference for which is happening on 9th December at T-Hub, Hyderabad. Agile Series 11 is the discount code. If you use, you will get 10% discount, and that code is valid for today and for only these attendees. And as a part of this session, you will be getting auto-credited PDU, one PDU credited in way of working category. And thank you very much, Vijay, for taking up time on coming up with a few slides on how to master the product ownership, and also taking good amount of questions from the online participants and the offline participants. And we got good amount of information on the ground realities of the product owner, how best in need to master his role. And thank you very much. And on behalf of PMI PCC board members, I would really thank you for coming forward to take up this session, and more in future to be associated, and we will do more sessions in relation to the product ownership, which is very much important for the agile practitioners. And thank you everyone who are joined today on Saturday morning. As I suggested, please do register for the Agile conference, which is in person. As I was saying in one of the question, in-person conversation always matters a lot. Let's meet at T-Hub, Hyderabad at Agile conference. And thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there any agenda that you can share for that?
Conference?
Yeah,
Give me a second.
just like it's just like title, right? What is that? But is there any agenda that
So there is
what
a
are the
10,
takeaways? What are the takeaways? Yeah, is it there?
Yeah, it is there. You can go to our pmipcc.org website, and I'm just opening it.
Just ping this link in the chat so that.
Yeah, I'll ping. So, little bit sneak peek of the event. So we have Asutosh Bhatwekar, coming, and he's doing a in-person workshop, and we have on the product aspect, we have Shravan Tikku, who is talking about crafting customer-centric products with product thinking on the product aspect. So this is a tentative agenda. We will make a little bit tweak here and there. So we have Al Chalavi, who is talking about the customer journey, and Mark Broom from PMI. As I said, Ashutosh is taking a workshop on Qna parts gamification way to identify coaching style, and we have a fireside chat, panel discussion on a conference theme, customer-centric agility from startup to enterprise. Likewise, we have good amount of agenda lined up. I'll give you that, website link. You may not see the entire agenda updated, but pretty soon we will be updating. But more or less, you can see the blueprint of the agenda. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Vinay, for giving me this opportunity. If you want to stay connected, send me a request over LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to answer your queries, or we can have a small chat over there. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful weekend, guys.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Vijay, and have a good day. Enjoy all. Bye bye.
Thanks for hosting such a wonderful
Thank
session.
you very much, all.